Hey, welcome to Sacred and Naked. I'm Charity, your sacred intimacy guide. And if you are looking for healing, connection, intimacy, and all things love, you've come to the right place. Thank you for being here. I want to talk more about my love wound. And this is really personal, but I know there are people out there that can relate. My love wound comes from my childhood, and love wounds can come from different places: childhood bonding patterns, early romantic experiences, survival modes, and like having to sacrifice a lot. Mine comes from childhood bonding patterns, and I have both a father wound and a mother wound, but my father wound rings louder because he was the tone setter, the leader of our household, and he set the tone. And I remember wondering what could possibly be wrong with me. I'm not my father's oldest child, but I am the oldest that grew up in the house. My sister, we grew up in California. My older sister grew up here. And so I was the first daughter. I would say the first full-time daughter, I guess. She didn't really visit us much. And then I have a brother, and I have two sisters under my brother. And I don't remember noticing a difference until my sister, the knee baby, the one that's right above my baby sister, was born. And I saw kind of how he took to her, he being my father, how he took to her, and just was really enamored with her. And with me, it was very different. It was the connection it just was not there. And fast forward some years, talented, like I sing and write music, write poetry. I'm very pretty good writer, and very involved in church. We didn't have a choice. We did not have a choice. But mime, choir, youth group, youth leader, just very, very involved. Pretty good student, was in accelerated advanced classes, played a little sports because he wanted me to, but there was so much tension there. He would say I'm bullheaded and mean. I do remember being mean, but I believe it stemmed from jealousy, resentment. I think those things are very natural when you kind of you're longing for a close relationship with a parent and it's just not there. But I do remember wondering, like, what's wrong with me? What could possibly be wrong with me that is keeping him and I from being close? I have the same DNA as my siblings do. We're all pretty talented, all pretty smart, have different personalities. I do think we all have strong personalities, but I'm very free thinking. I do have a strong personality. So I just could not figure it out. And we just kind of stayed into it. And I felt ostracized. I felt like the black sheep. I felt like the tone that was created in the house was that Charity was always wrong or whatever. And I was affirmed in that when years and years and years later, my brother was talking to a girl, like had a girlfriend or whatever, and she mentioned to me that she noticed that I and another one of my siblings were treated differently. And so it just felt good that, like, dang, it's not all in my head. You know what I mean? Like, you know, something is off here. Like, I don't get it. Like, why is it? This is just a very labored relationship. But outside of my house, I was able to make friends and I was able to build meaningful relationships. And so it was weird because inside my house, I was like, something must be wrong with me. And outside my house, I was like, it's nothing wrong with me at all, because I'm able to have meaningful connections with people. Like, and it's never been hard for me to make friends or like make connections. I had very meaningful, I would say even safe connections both ways. Like, people felt safe telling me things. I felt safe telling them, like confiding in them. And so it was weird, but it still created a space that said I'm unlovable, because you definitely would want your parents to love you. You would want your parents to choose you. You would want your parents to support you, accept you. And I wasn't experiencing any of that. So as time went on, I carried this I'm unlovable belief, and it really led to all my decision making. Like, I chose my husband based off this wound. I was trying to create my own family. I felt like I could do family better than what my dad did. I would never allow or do anything to make my children feel like I didn't love them, that they weren't a part of me, that they weren't wanted. And so, you know, in church, you're not supposed to have children out of wedlock. And so I wanted to create a family. And so I knew I needed to get married to do that. And so Dave was my first boyfriend. We were 19 and I wanted a family. So 3 years after we started dating, we got married. Maybe 1 year into our relationship, me and my dad had gotten into a really big fight, and Dave asked his parents to allow me to move into their home. And so I left home probably about 20 and lived with Dave and his parents. And we got married a couple years later, had our first son, or our first child. He's my only son. Maybe a year and a half after that. And marriage was hard. Motherhood wasn't as hard, but it's because I wanted to be a mother. Like, that's where I really put all my desire and love into. Like, I didn't necessarily want to be married. I didn't necessarily want to be a wife. I didn't see any real value in that, other than it's just the order of things. Like, I was supposed to get married and then have kids, but it was the motherhood and rearing my children that I poured all my passion into. And it was natural for me. Motherhood is just very natural for me. but I was still carrying this wound though. And I know I was carrying the wound because I was still unfulfilled. Fast forward 4 kids later. And I was like, what am I doing? Who am I? I've had several affairs. My marriage is, not good. What am I doing? And so I have to heal this wound. Like, how do I heal this wound? How do I unlearn the belief that I'm unlovable? Because that's not true. I was created with purpose, with intention, and with love. And so I am lovable because I was created that way. I'm worthy. Is my birthright. My birthright is love. My birthright is worthiness. And so how do I unlearn that belief and heal this wound that says I'm unlovable? And so that's when I started to choose myself, and I started to dig deep and look, into the dark parts of myself that I hid away or maybe felt shame in. And it's really been the most rewarding thing that I've ever done. And I think where I started was because, we don't know where to start. Who teaches us? Who teaches us how to heal and where to start? I learned about the chakra system. And the chakra system is the energy systems within your body. And I learned about the chakra system. And I love color. I think that's why I kind of gravitated towards the chakra system, because I really love color, and each chakra is represented by a different color. And I just learned about the root chakra is your foundation, the I am, who you really are, your identity. And then you have the sacral chakra and the solar plexus and the heart chakra, the throat chakra, the third eye, and your crown. And so I learned about that system, and I learned how to use it, and I began to affirm myself in the love space. So what it sounded like was, I am loved. That's the root. I feel loved. That's the sacral chakra. I experience love. That is the solar plexus. I love, and I love all the ways that I experience love. That's the heart. I speak love. I speak love into myself. I speak love into others. And third eye, I see love all around me. And the crown, which is your connection to the divine, I know love. I know love is within me and all around me. And I would just create different affirmations around love. And I would say them, I would set alarms in my phone to do my affirmations. And a lot of my, I wouldn't say a lot of my healing comes from affirmations, but it's definitely a foundational practice that I adopted to really expedite my healing process. So I think you should check that out. If you're searching for practices to aid in your healing, the chakra system is a great place to start. Energy is a great place to start, and support your healing. So check out the chakra system. And so then when I start to believe that I am love, I am love. Like, I am a physical and energetic representation of love. And I started to walk in that and to believe that, and to know that, like, if I am love, then I am loved. And I started to hear from other people that I'm so easy to love. Like I didn't ask that. Like, they would just give me, like, unsolicited. Like, they would just say this, like, you're so easy to love. And I'm like, oh, for real? Like, I'm changing my reality. Okay, great. I accept that. And then my relationship started to change when I started to know that I'm love and I am loved and I'm so easy to love. I really took that and I ran with it. And I started to see people show up differently and be very intentional about how they talk to me and how they showed up and what they did for me. It just further affirmed that, yes, I am loved and I am worthy of love. And you think about I thought about my father and that wound, and really knowing how hard it is as an adult to balance everything you have going on. Like, you have your marriage and you have your children and you have your own personal things that you're going through, and nobody teaches us how to heal. Nobody teaches us what to heal. I began to have compassion for him and to know that he really did the best he could. And if it wasn't for how he showed up for me, I would not be the woman that I am today, that is very passionate about healing and love and how I show up for people and how I encourage other people to show up for others. And so I'm not going to lie and say it was just easy to forgive. And I still have my moments where I have to forgive and remember that my father is human and he did the best that he could with what he had, just like I'm doing the best that I can with what I have. And hopefully I don't leave any huge wounds for my children, but who knows? I may. And I would want them to know that mommy did the best that she could with what she had. When I think of it in that way, it's easy to release him from the creator of this wound, like the villain in my story. My father's not the villain in my story. He is a very important part of the woman that I am today, and I'm incredibly proud of the woman that I am today. I would not want to be any other person than the woman that I am today with the experiences that I have today, because every last experience has created me, and I'm able to share and relate to so many people based off the experience that I've had. I don't know where it came from, but I've always been somebody who, yes, I know I'm a leader, but I lead through transparency and vulnerability. And you can't, your experiences are very much a big part of transparency and leading in that way. And so every experience that I've had, I'm grateful for. And so, yes, I have a wound, right? But I've been able to turn that pain into power. And I'm very, very grateful for that. I'm not unlovable. I'm not unworthy of love. I am very much worthy of love, and I'm experiencing the best love relationships that I've ever had in my life. So, Daddy, I don't know that you'll ever hear this or see this, but I love you. And I've released you a long time ago, but I am so grateful for the journey that we've been on together. And we still have little conversations here and there. I don't think our journey is over. But thank you for creating me. And thank you for raising me and doing the best that you could with me. And giving me the things I needed to become the woman that I am today. I love you and I'm grateful. Tell me about your wounds. I want to know how your wounds have shaped the person that you've become today. And I want to hear really how proud you are of the person that you are today. Let me know. Also, let me know what else you want to hear about. Are you curious about any parts of the healing practices that I've used to heal my wound? It's not easy. I do meditations. I really do a lot of reconstructing my thoughts. Like, I don't allow myself to continue to think certain thoughts. Like, I have to stop the thought and reconstruct it into a positive, healthy thought. I do a lot of that. I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of manifestation practice. Excuse me. I know that my reality is a reflection of what's on the inside of me. And so my beliefs and my feelings, whatever that is, they manifest in the people that are in my world, how certain situations play out. Like, that's all me. And I know that to be true. And so I'm very, very intentional about how I think and what I think and how I feel, what I feel, because I know that really shapes what my reality is. And I'm really big on enjoying my life and creating my life the way I want to. So I'm very intentional about that. But let me know if you want to hear about more spiritual practices or healing practices that I do. Let me know if there's any part of my journey that you want to hear more about. Motherhood, marriage, outside partners. Let me know. Please share and like and subscribe. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Until next time.